Hello, everybody.
Yes, Judge.
And I'll be with you in 1 second, Mr. Bowers. These are case number 17 CR 396, MGI 21 CR 283, and MGI 24 CR 72. Mr. Berger appears in custody by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mr. Rickman, state by Ms. Plashka. And these are set both this afternoon for a scheduled evidentiary and preliminary hearing. And this morning, we're hearing this morning a recently filed motion to withdraw by Mr. Rickman. We're hearing that this morning, so the state has an opportunity to call off witnesses in the event that motion is granted. Mr. Rickman, you have the floor on your motion.
Hey, Judge, I think there is a situation with Mr. Berger and I that we just are not able to communicate. I actually had Mr. Lampson go visit Mr. Berger in jail yesterday to see if Mr.
Hey, hang on 1 second.
If
Mr. Berger,
Mr.
you can't speak when Mr. Rickman's speaking. You'll have a chance to talk in a moment.
All right, sorry, sir.
That's right. Go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Lampson, I would pass off the file to him, and my understanding visiting with Mr. Lampson after he met with Mr. Berger that he just considered our office poisonous and didn't want to have any conversation or hear what Mr. Lampson had to say. He thought that my position or looking at the cases would poison his mind or judgment, Your Honor. Since we're on YouTube or video, the last time I met with Mr. Berger, I think was 2 weeks ago or a week prior, last Friday. Mr. Berger obtained some personal confidential information about my past and threw that in my face. I explained that to Ms. Plashka yesterday, that what happened to me when I was a young attorney. And I told him I was done with him. And I think I got a letter subsequent to that, a week or two, a couple days later. Mr. Berger apologized for what he said. I think that was the comment that his apology was covering. But then he had written a letter that was addressed to Mr. Witt to our office, indicating he would contact the disciplinary administrator's office. A lot of times I think that's more bluff than truth in those matters. I think that I've handled the matter as best as I can. I don't believe Mr. Berger will listen or cooperate or participate in my services in this case, Judge. I think I've done everything I could to give him the proper advice, and in fact, even try to get Mr. Lampson to take over the case so that he would not have to have me, and apparently that did not go very good yesterday, or at least he did not want Mr. Lampson's services to take over the case. That's what I have to say, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rickman. Mr. Berger, I don't need a long narrative from you. I just want to get confirmation. Are you, in fact, requesting a new attorney? It's just a simple yes or no.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then I gave you the letter of why 2 weeks prior to Mr. Rickman's visit to me, I gave you a letter. I gave Rickman's boss a letter of why the reasons I want to take Mr. Lampson, because he is representing my co-defendant, the guy that was trying in the house with me. So that's a conflict of interest for Rickman to even send him over to talk to me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Berger. All right, Ms. Plashke, you think you put the record?
Can I speak to just 1 minute?
Sure.
Mr. Lampson was not representing Andy Ochoa. That is Ms. Hearn's client. So I did not do anything proper that way.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. Ms. Plashke, state's position on the motion to withdraw.
Your Honor, the state's not in any position to determine whether or not the defendant and his counsel have a conflict or have breakdown of communication.
All right, Mr. Berger, I will grant your attorneys and your request for him to withdraw. The court is going to appoint Robert Lattin to represent you. He'll be notified of the appointment. That will result in your evidentiary hearings and your preliminary hearing this afternoon being continued. State may call up its witnesses. We're going to review your cases on June 4th at 9 o'clock. That'll give the court an opportunity to send an order of appointment to Mr. Latin, give him an opportunity to get the discovery from either the state or Mr. Rickman.
Mr. Bowers, are you okay, sir?
And visit with you in the jail. Anything further as far as you're concerned, Ms. Plaschka?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rickman, if you'll submit an order to withdraw, I'll be happy to approve that.
Thank you, Judge.
That's all for today. Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Your Honor, that next date was June 4th. Was that
Yes.
at 9 o'clock? Thank
9
you.
o'clock, you got it. All right, Mr. Bowers, can you unmute your microphone for me, please? Hit that microphone button on your device there, Mr. Bowers, and that should unmute you. You got it.
Hello.
Hello, this is State of Kansas versus Johnny Bowers, MGI 22 CR 55. Can you hear me, Mr. Bowers?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just swollen up. I can hear you. I can barely
Okay.
talk.
Mr. Bowers appears by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mr. Rickman, stayed by Ms. Plaschka. This is on a motion to revoke probation. I think we're at the admission denial stage. Mr. Rickman, how do you want to proceed?
Judge, let's go ahead and enter denial today and set the evidentiary hearing on June 4 at 1:30.
Does that work for the state?
Can I say?
What do you want to say, Johnny?
I just want to say I have evidence as in UAs. I have prescriptions with
Okay.
doctors' names on them.
Johnny? Okay,
Yeah.
Johnny, you and I will meet, and I need you to have bring that paperwork to me, all right? This is not the
Okay.
time to present that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
You're fine, Mr. Bowers. So, Mr. Bowers, your next court date is going to be June 4th, Tuesday, June 4th at 1:30 in person here in Independence at the Judicial Center. So June 4th, 1:30 in person.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so that'll be an evidentiary hearing. The state will have to prove the allegations contained in their motion. So get with Mr. Rickman, provide him whatever documentation you have, and you'll have the chance to present that in court on June 4th at 1:30, okay?
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you then. Have a good day. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Judge, can you get our office appointed for the felony PV on this? That's what the carryover, I was counsel from that, but we don't have an order appointing for the probation motion yet.
Yep, we'll see then order appointing is filed.
Thank you. It helps us with our case count, Judge.
I get it.
That's the only
No
reason.
problem.
That's the only reason I really ask on these PVs. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
No problem at all. We'll get that on file. You're free to go,
Thank you.
Mr. Bowers. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I feel bad for Mr. Bowers, but you can absolutely tell he's either been prescribed something for that abscess or well, he said he's got prescriptions with names on them and stuff, but oh, I feel bad for him. Like, he couldn't even open his mouth. Poor guy. But he was definitely under the influence. Yes, I feel sorry for him too.
Ms. Woolfolk, we're ready for Kayla Brady, whenever you have her ready on the laptop. And there she is, State of Kansas versus Kayla Brady, MGI 21 CR 340. Ms. Brady appears by Zoom from the court laptop, separate from counsel, Mr. Rickman, stayed by Ms. Plaschka. And this is on a motion to revoke diversion.
All right, I thought this was 1:30. We need to set this, I guess, for an evidentiary hearing on the motion on June 4 at 1:30. Unfortunately, Ms. Brady was not able to meet with me when we had appointments scheduled for like a week ago or so. But I think the next step is just to have this as an evidentiary hearing so that the court can make a ruling whether the terms of violations or diversion have been violated. And then probably the next step is to schedule a trial unless we enter a plea.
Okay. Ms.
And
Plaschka?
that would be a bench trial, Judge, on the diversion.
So Brian, are you wanting an evidentiary hearing on June 4th?
I think we need to have an hearing finding that the diversion agreement's been violated, and then we can then schedule it for bench trial.
That works for the state, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Brady, next court date then is June 4th at 1:30 in person. for an evidentiary hearing. You'll be in the large courtroom across the hall from where you are now.
Is
You
that
got
when I bring my disability papers up and stuff? Do I bring them that day? Because I came up to the
Yeah, bring them
courthouse.
back. Bring those things with you, and then you and I will schedule an appointment to meet between the next hearing and the one that we scheduled probably in August, since I have a jury trial in July on the Judge Kettler's next docket in July.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have court now. Call me and make an appointment when you know you have a ride that
I
can
called
get
you
I'll
every day of this month on 3 different phones and left voicemail. I don't.
All right.
have
I haven't got your calls when I'm in, and I missed. You didn't keep my scheduled appointment, but I'm not going to deal with that with the judge's time. All right.
Okay.
So next course, June 4th.
1:30. We'll see you then. Thank you, Ms. Brady.
I'm such a liar. I was here for an hour and a half that day. My mom.
And who is this before us?
This will be Jonathan Basolo, Your Honor.
Okay. State of Kansas versus Jonathan Basolo. This is case number MGI 24 CR 143. Mr. Basolo appears in custody by Zoom without counsel, stated by Ms. Plashka. And this is on for a formal first appearance today.
Your Honor, what was the case number again?
24 CR 143.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Give me one moment. All right, Mr. Basolo, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you are charged in a 5-count information with the following. For sake of brevity, each of these offenses are alleged to have occurred on or about May 6th, 2024 in Montgomery County, Kansas. Give me one moment. All right, Ms. Plashka, the information says the date is May 6, 2024. That's yesterday, but Mr. Basolo was arrested on this case and informally first appeared on April 29th. So I think the date in the information might be incorrect.
It looks like it should have been April 28th of 2024. So I will get that with Ms. Johnson and see if we can get that corrected.
All right, so there's going to be an amended information filed, Mr. Basolo, but the charges will remain the same. And I believe that the amended information is going to reflect that on or about April 28th, 2024 in Montgomery County, Kansas, that you are charged with committing the following offenses. Count 1 is possession of methamphetamine. It is alleged that you unlawfully, knowingly, and feloniously possessed a quantity of methamphetamine, a Schedule II controlled substance as designated in Kansas statutes. That's a level 5 drug felony, carries a potential sentence of 10 to 42 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. In count 2, you're charged with battery and a law enforcement officer. It is alleged you unlawfully and knowingly caused physical contact with another person, to wit, Matthew Wright, a uniformed or properly identified city law enforcement officer, in a rude, insulting, or angry manner, while said officer was engaged in performance of the officer's duty. That's a Class A person misdemeanor, carries a penalty of up to 1 year in the county jail, and or fine up to $2,500. In count 3, you're charged with criminal trespass. It is alleged that you unlawfully, knowingly, without authorization or privilege, entered or remained in or upon any structure, to wit, 409 North 15th Street, Independence, Kansas, and the structure was locked or otherwise enclosed or shut or secured against passage or entry. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carries a penalty up to 6 months in the county jail, and or fine up to $1,000. In count 4, you're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. It is alleged that you unlawfully used or possessed with the intent to use drug paraphernalia, to wit, a clear plastic zip top bag used or intended for unlawful use in storing, containing, concealing, injecting, ingesting, inhaling, or otherwise introducing a controlled substance into the human body. That is also a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carrying the same possible penalty as count 3. And lastly, in count 5, you're charged with interference with law enforcement. It is alleged that you unlawfully and knowingly attempted to obstruct, resist, or oppose a person authorized to serve process, Matthew Wright, in the discharge of any official duty in the case of a misdemeanor. And further, that act of the offender substantially hindered or increased the burden of the officer in the performance of his official duty. And that is also a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carrying the same possible penalty as counts 3 and 4. Do you understand what you're charged with in this case, Mr. Basolo? I'm not asking whether you are guilty or not guilty, but do you understand what I just read to you?
I understand what you said.
That's all I need to know for now. That's all I need to know for now, Mr. Basolo. Now, you appear today without an attorney. Did you intend on hiring your own, or do you want the court to consider appointing you one?
It might be helpful if I could talk to one. Yeah, I can't afford one.
All right. Have you completed an application and an affidavit? All right. Well, that's where we need to start. So the deputy's going to give you an application and an affidavit. If you get that paperwork filled out and returned to the jail, we'll review it. And if you qualify financially, we'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Now, this complaint says that you are homeless. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you unemployed?
Well, I mean, I don't have like no W-2 right now, no.
All right. So you will likely qualify for court-appointed attorney, but we can't make that official until you fill that paperwork out. So the sooner you fill that paperwork, the deputy's going to hand you, the sooner we can get you an attorney that you can visit with about your case. Okay.
All right.
Looks like this case is assigned to me. So your next court date is going to be on June 4th at 9 o'clock.
Do I have a bond or anything? Or am I just, what are we gonna do there?
Your Honor, I showed that a $5,000 cash surety bond with supervision was ordered on the April 29th date.
I show the same. So you do have a bond, Mr. Basolo, as Ms. Plaschka just indicated. It's $5,000 cash or surety with supervision. That means to get out of jail, you can either post $5,000 to the clerk of the court, or as most people do, you can go through a bondsman or a bonding company, and you typically pay them 10%, which would be $500. That's between you and them and whatever they require you to pay. It's usually not less than 10%. But that is the bond. It also requires supervision, which means if you do make that bond and you're not in jail, you need to immediately report to our court service office. They're located next door in the Montgomery County Courthouse, the building immediately to the west of this one. That would have been explained to you when you first appeared before Judge Collins on April the 29th as well. So you do have the ability to bond out if you can post $5,000 or go through a bondsman. Next court date will be June 4th, 9 o'clock. That will be for either attorney review or selection of a preliminary hearing date. Again, I would suggest that you get that paperwork filled out as soon as possible, today preferably. That way we can get an attorney appointed to represent you before your next court date.
All right.
If you do make bond and you're not in jail on June 4th, I want you to return to the Judicial Center by 9 a.m. on that date. Check in on the second floor at the clerk's window. It is a Zoom hearing, but I want you to appear in person on that date. Any questions about that?
I'll try to remember that.
I hope you do. Otherwise, it'll be a warrant for your arrest if you're not in jail and you don't appear. Anything further from the state, Ms. Plaschka?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Basolo.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Basolo, you're a comedian. I'll try and remember that. Try real hard. Because if you don't remember that, the judge certainly will.